guys, how's it going? It's Dane at ZIMM'S Guitars, and on the bench today I've got one of those old Japanese things, and it's in really rough condition, made in Japan. You can see that the neck action on here, the string height is way off. I'm going to try to clean this guitar and get it playable. Right now you can see if you hold the strings down, they're all hitting this pickup right here. This is a lot of work. I'm going to try to get all this finish on this guitar looking all nice and pretty. A full day job just hanging out today. You know, I'll take care of customers. I'll come back, I'll work on this thing a little bit. And this might take me all weekend to get this thing done, but my goal is to try to make a playable guitar out of this thing. So it does have functioning electronics. I mean, everything is here. And it is a bolt-on neck. Hopefully I can shim this neck and get this string height down a little bit. We got this whole bridge that'll adjust, and it looks like it's up really high. It looks like it's going to be a lot of work, but I think I can do it. I think I'm up for the challenge. So we're just going to start by pulling the strings off. Okay, yeah. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Let's put... We've got some open back old school tuners on this guitar. So before I start even turning on them too much, let's put a few drops of some 3-in-1 oil on these tuners. Yeah, so this is going to be quite the project, but let's see. Well, we should be able to do this. It has the 0 fret right here. Sometimes, you know, I get these kind of guitars and they're missing a few parts. And so when they're, wow, that looks strange. So when they're missing parts, sometimes you gotta just give up on them. Look at this thing, had the old Fender Bullet strings on here. Those were great strings. So this bridge looks like it's in rough shape. So, yeah, let's go ahead and take the screws out of here that are holding this bridge on here, because this looks all wacky. Is there a center block, or is this hollow all the way through? These screws look like they aren't really into much going on here, so... Wow, oh, okay. How'd that come out of there? Does it wrap under? Is that what it's supposed to do? Yeah. But it's on here all crooked and everything. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a marathon video for you guys. Once in a while, I'll watch videos about guys that work on old hot rods, and I like watching Mortsky. And some of his videos are like 2.5 hours long, because he, you know, takes an old car and gets it running. And you'll spend all night watching his videos. Alright, so We got the strings off of it. Yeah, I was hoping that there would be a center block through this guitar, but there is not. So the way this bridge was just screwed in all weird, it's not straight across here. There's a bunch of holes everywhere. Wow. Somebody went nuts on this one. Okay. We'll come back to that. I'm going to clean all that anyhow. Let's pull the neck off of here. There's some guys that really love these old Japanese things. But for me to work all day on this and try to make money reselling this, it's kind of unlikely. There's my front door. So it's unlikely that this is a big high-end item that I'm going to be able to actually make good money on it after this thing's all shined up. So I'm kind of doing this for fun and for video content for you guys. So you don't have to, because I've got plenty of other guitars that I could restring. But this one, man, it's challenging. So I'm kind of up for the challenge. Alright. Get the neck bolts out of there. Nice long neck bolts. Okay, so we're looking at the neck now. And you can see somebody had a nice 1/8 inch thick, two of them together, these shims. There's two of them kind of setting up on top of each other. And so it's been shimmed before. And again, we've got well, it looks like a nice nut, but because of the 0 fret, the nut, you don't have to cut the depth in the nut. And it's all there. Looks good. Hasn't been re-drilled a bunch of times in different spots. And all the tuners are on here. So that was the purpose of doing a video here. Now here's the old plate, and you know, I'll just try to polish that up. It probably, no, I was going to say we could install it upside down, but no. I'll just clean that whole thing up really good. This thing is so lightweight. So it has this little area right here that you don't see on any other guitars. Truss rod cover. Kind of cool pickups. Alright. Let's get in here and let's spray some electronics and see if we can clean this up a little bit. Wow. We're in here looking at the electronics, and it's dirty in there, that's for sure. But all the wiring is in here. So I think we're just going to vacuum that out and spray these potentiometers out and spray this electronics out really good. And I think this thing will work just fine. But we got to get all that dirt out of there. Okay, I got my vacuum out. Let's just vacuum on this thing a little bit here. So this is the electronic spray cleaner that I have, and you can get this at AutoZone. Let's see now, I'm just going to get in here and spray these potentiometers out. Get some under here. And then let's see about these switches. Make sure you guys have safety glasses on, because this stuff squirts out everywhere. Okay. Let's lay that down in there. Let's test on these electronics some more. Okay, let's see now. Volume up. Tone up. I think they're working. Oh man, they're stiff, but let's do this. Let me, so on this output jack, so that it gets a little bit more snug, I'm just going to tiny bit bend this thing a little tiny bit that way, just so that the cord stays a little bit snug. There we go. All right. I think this is all that I have to do in here. I mean, some guys would want to change all these parts out, but I don't think for this thing, we're just trying to make a player out of it, so we're not going to do all that. Okay, so I got some simple grain I'm going to put on here. We're just going to try to get the top layer of dirt off of this thing. This thing looks like it might have been left outside, or most likely in somebody's dusty garage for a long time. But again, the best thing about this guitar is it's got all the parts are here. So when you guys are looking around for projects like this, it's always important to buy this stuff that has all the parts, because if you try to find any of these parts anywhere else, you're never going to be able to find anything. And if you are lucky enough to get something on Reverb or Craigslist or something, they're going to charge you a lot of money for like this weird bridge or any of this kind of stuff, or these pickups. So it's very important to find a project that has all its parts. It's cool that it's, it still even has its pick guard. Yeah, this stuff is really just caked on there. Let's get the back a little bit. I'm going to put this neck back on, and I've got these two little pieces of wood that were part of a popsicle stick. And so I'm going to try to shim the neck, and we're just going to eyeball this and see if it's anywhere close to being in a spot that where is going to work. Alright, so this is just testing to see if the popsicle stick shim is going to come anywhere close. And now I'm not using tape measures, I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just experimenting. There's no science to this or anything like that. Trial and error, you know, I'm going to try that for a few times here. And let's see, because that bridge has tons of adjustability in the bridge. Alright, so this isn't a real accurate straight edge, but you can see now that, you know, it was just popsicle stick shims. But you can see now, once we get this set right here on the 0 fret, I know this isn't the right tool, guys. Give me a break. It's a yardstick made out of wood. But it kind of looks like, once I get the bridge on there, I think we'll be able to maybe get the strings on and make a playable guitar out of it. So that's what we've done. Okay, so I cleaned up the bridge a little bit and reinstalling the bridge. And because this is a hollow body, you know, a lot of times when you put a screw back down in there, you can shove and you can glue a toothpick down in there to give the wood something to bite into, to give the screw something to grab onto. But you can't really do that with this guitar. And it seems weird that the holes are all out of alignment. To me, it looks straighter, sort of like this. But everything's kind of off to the side on this one. So I'm thinking maybe a couple of these screws. Maybe I should put a couple bigger ones in here to hold it in more securely, because it's got these little screws, and there's no way I can get this thing to tighten down any tighter than these little screws. I think I might try to put bigger screws in here so that there's a little bit more for the bridge to be secure. I don't know, kind of rambling. Let me look and see what I have. Okay, so while I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can use one of these holes to put a ground to the bridge, because I know there isn't a ground here. Oh, there it is. So I'm just looking through here and seeing if I can snag this wire that I just put in there. And we'll wire up a ground for this thing. I don't know if it's going to do any good. But well, since we're in here, what the heck, right? Let's see if we can get a good ground wire on here. Okay. I'll just kind of let this thing sort of live right there, and see if we can hook that up to one of the potentiometers so we have a ground. Alright, so I found a couple longer screws that are chromed, and they're a little bit wider, so maybe it'll kind of help this guitar stay down in place better. I don't know. They're a little bit bigger, and maybe they'll hold this bridge into place nicely. don't know what all these other holes are around here. It's unfortunate that they are there. That one sort of felt like it kind of went in nice. Tightened up good. That one just fell right in. And this one didn't really bite. Let me see if I can pull this one back out. Let's maybe if I have one that's a little bit bigger. Yeah, that one's too big. There we go. Let's go with this one. There we go. That had some bite to it. That one's not doing anything. That one's in good. That one's in good. Alright, so I think that's going to be secure. Let's go ahead and let's get my soldering iron out, and I'll solder this wire to one of the potentiometers.
So you're in a band now?
Okay, so I'm going to shine on the frets a little bit. I've got my fret guard, and I've got some 1000 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to take the top layer. Little tiny frets on this thing, but I'm just going to take the top layer of dirt off these frets. Just kind of shine them up a little bit. I don't see any fret wear on this guitar. It obviously hasn't been played very much. 1960s Japanese guitar. These old things were really cool for their day, and it scared a lot of American guitar manufacturers. These things are one reason that Leo Fender ended up selling Fender in 1965, because he started seeing all these Japanese guitars, and he kind of scared him a little bit, and he didn't think he could compete with these Japanese companies that were making these things. But at the time, Leo didn't realize that his original Fender Strats and his original Tellys were so much better when it came to playability that he had no reason to be scared of these things, because this thing has no, it has no staying power. It didn't age well. It's maybe it's $150 guitar. I don't know. Some guys can squeak $200 or $300 out of some of these. But if you compare this to a 1960s Tele or a 60s Strat or a Jazzmaster, there's no comparison. The Fender stuff plays so much better. Leo had no reason to be scared of the Japanese manufacturers. Okay, a little bit of F1 oil on there now. Couldn't really get to that 0 fret to shine that thing up. That's okay. Okay, let's just kind of let that soak in. Kind of set there. Shine on the body a little bit. Way too much. Okay, some Dunlap 65. It says to spray it on the rag. We just went straight on the guitar with it. Okay, let's do the back. McGuire's Ultimate Compound. I put way too much on the front of the guitar, but it turned out that was the perfect amount. Whoop. Almost did it there too. Alright. Let's see if we can work on this a little bit. Get this done. Right? You need to get a guitar dog, right? A shop dog. I need a dog that could hang out in my guitar shop all day. Participate in YouTube videos. Wouldn't that be cool? Don't send me, oh guys, don't send me dogs. It'd be cool, but I don't want one. Gotta be careful what you wish for sometimes, because you guys will send me free stuff all the time, and I really appreciate that. Parts is what I like to get. Send me those old parts that nobody uses anymore. Send me those old parts that you guys don't want. Because you never know when I put one of these weird things together and I need a part for something. Okay. I kind of think this is ready for strings, so let's grab some strings. Okay, roll the string jingle. Today's string choice. Ernie Ball regular slinky, 10 through 46. So we're going to throw a string on here, and if this ends up all wacky and not looking good, I'm not going to be surprised, because I have a feeling we're going to have to do a lot of adjustments to the bridge here. And so I think what's going on here is just like a wraparound bridge. So I think, how the hell would this work? So you go in like this, and then you top wrap it like that? Yeah, that's got to be the only way. I don't see any other way that it would work. So, yep, that's got to be the only way that it would work. Let's go ahead and put it underneath. It does have a string tree bar that's over here. Yeah, I'm thinking that that's the only way that's going to work. So, let's see what happens here. Missed on it a little, only got one wrap around it, so let's give it a little bit more string down here. Okay. Wow. We are way... We are way off the fretboard. So what it's going to take? Super weird. I'm going to have to adjust. I'm going to say that this bridge is probably not the best design. Because the Japanese manufacturers did come up with some good design on some stuff. They came up with some really good innovative designs. I don't think this bridge right here is one of them. And then also we have a 0 fret here. But yeah, so we have a 0 fret. Let me show you guys. Let me get in here. So somebody changed the nut. Because you can see it's supposed to be laying right on the 0 fret right there. And the string is way up off of that. So that's going to need addressed. Guys, this might just end up being a wall hanger. That's the thing about some of these guitars. Sometimes they just end up being pretty old wall hangers. A piece of art, you hang it on the wall in your man cave. Sometimes that's all they're good for. But there are the Jack Whites in the world that take these things and play them. Looking like it's going to end up being a wall hanger. But I'm not giving up yet. See, now what's going to happen is if this first fret, if it's not on the 0 fret, if the string is not laying on the 0 fret, it's not going to be intonated. All these notes are going to be way off. So there is that. So we probably need to file this nut down so that the strings are actually laying on that 0 fret. Because I imagine that it is not intonated anywhere close. Now I'm almost thinking that maybe that this bridge piece is maybe on here upside down, because the way the string would be right on the end of the ball end there, that also seems kind of weird. So I wonder if this bridge piece is setting upside down. This guitar has been in the world for, you know, probably 60 years. Close to 60 years old this thing is. At least late 50s. And the more I think about this bridge, I kind of think that if we flip this upside down, the string wouldn't be touching. See, it's touching right there. It's touching the ball ends. I think that's upside down. I might restring this. I'm thinking out loud here on this one, guys. Sometimes you just gotta look at something long enough to know what's going on. Okay, let me charge my string winder back up. There we go. Because there is no way that this thing is going to come close to playing. And I also need to loosen up this and try to get that neck to set in the pocket better. So let me loosen this a little bit. I warned you guys this was going to be a 3-hour long video, didn't I? Or at least 2? Alright, let's see if that's not down in there, right? Okay, let's see if we can. There we go. A little bit better. Okay, let's take a look. How's that looking? Needs more work. Okay. Alright, I'm going to do a couple of, well, one thing is that our string height now is in a playable area. So we've gotten over that hurdle. But the neck is out of whack. It needs to run over this direction more. And so I need to loosen those up and kind of get that set down in there nicer. And then I think I'm going to flip this whole thing upside down and restring it, because I'm pretty sure that this is upside down. So let's do those things. Okay, so on this nut, I'm just going to knock this thing out of here. And it broke. That's okay. It went right in the trash can. I'm going to get a different nut to put on here that's a little smaller. See, somebody used super glue on this one. So don't use super glue, guys. That string's alright. Let me see if I can knock that out. Okay, let me get a better chisel for that. Okay, I got that out of there. Let me just move this string out of the way. Run a little file in here a little bit, just to give it a nice clean edge. So we can put another nut in there that's lower and smaller, so that the strings will actually lay on top of the 0 fret. That's my goal. Let me see if I have something to do that. Okay, so I went through my box of old nuts, and I got this one. And this one looks pretty good. Now I can just see by laying a string across there that it's still going to be too tall. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay a piece of sandpaper here. And I'm just going to sand on this nut and get it to be smaller. This usually works pretty good. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to work. Now the width on this is perfect. So the width on this one looks perfect when you use your finger and your thumb right there. So I think I'm going to glue that one down in there. And if we have to file on it a little bit, that's okay. Using a little bit of Titebond wood glue. Then again, you put your middle finger and your thumb on there to kind of hold it in place so you know you have it centered on there nicely. And then just don't want to put the string on it. I probably should have got that string out of here. But now I just got to set and let that dry up for a little while. Okay, a little bit of Gibson guitar polish. This stuff is really good. It does kind of have a very unique scent about it though. It kind of stinks in a way. But you get used to it. Okay, trying to tune this thing up. Let's see now. It's got a really narrow. I think I was able to solve the problem with this 0 fret, so it looks like all the strings are actually lying on top of that 0 fret, which is good. That's what we wanted. They might kind of buzz around on there though when you hit an open string. Hearing a little buzziness. But here we go. Now let's see. Let's see if it's anywhere close to being intonated. We might have to move this bridge forward and back. So I've got my tuner up here. Okay, there's our A note. Way off. Super flat. So flat means come forward. Okay. What do I use to do this? I'm just going to use these little pliers that I have. Okay. We're going to try to bring this whole thing forward a little. Doesn't really want to move for me, but I will get it. Try it like this. There we go. Okay, it's coming forward. I can see it coming forward. I think for some reason I want to take this part even further. Okay, let's tune it up again. It's buzzing. Probably buzzes underneath that. It might be hitting some frets right here. Well, I don't see how it could be hitting frets, but you just got to keep messing with things sometimes. That one's buzzing. Sounds like it's buzzing down over the bridge. Our B string, and then finally our high E string. Okay, I warned you guys it was going to be a long video. If you are in this far into the video, thank you guys so much for watching. That D string's buzzing. It's the bridge, it's making it buzz. There aren't any little there isn't any little like slots where this can, you know, set in there. It just kind of rolls over the top, but I think it was a great idea to flip that upside down. I think that solved the problem. I'm bragging now. Okay, let's try the A string. It's really flat. I'm going to bring this thing way forward a lot. It might not ever intonate. You just never know. It just might not ever intonate. As many holes as there was along here and all this weirdness going on. I'll bring it close to the edge. I know there's a little wrench we could put on that. There we go. Okay. Now let's tune it one more time. And if it doesn't intonate or come close, we're going to hang it on the wall and talk about how pretty of an old guitar it is. because it's just going to be a wall hanger. That D string really buzzes. This is the same guitar that was in our Halloween video. It's haunted. This was the haunted guitar. D string's still buzzing. Alright, let's look at the intonation on the high E string. Oh my God. It is so flat. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's intonated closer on the 13th fret. So it went into the same screw holes in the neck. We didn't change these screws in the back of the neck. So is the neck mounted in wrong? I don't see how it could be. It's got to be this bridge. And it's flat. Every note's getting a little bit more flat as you come up the neck. So the problem is definitely in that bridge. I'm going to say that whole bridge needs to be moved forward. Let's do this. Okay. So from the 0 fret to the 12th fret is 11 5/8. And from here it's 12 1/2. Okay, so this thing is so far off. But again, I used the same holes in the neck that went through the body. I didn't change that. I just put a shim under it. Okay. Well, geez. Leave me some comments. I think this bridge needs to be moved forward. Now let's look again. From the 0 fret to the 12th fret, we're looking at like 11 3/4. This thing needs to move like an inch forward, this bridge. So, should I just move the bridge an inch forward? Should I leave it like this, like a wall hanger? Should I keep working on this turd? 24 1/2. 11 3/4. This is a weird scale length. This is set up. You guys got to help me on this. This is set up for 24.5. But the neck at the 12th fret only goes to 11 3/4. So that'd be 22. That'd be 23.5. So this bridge has to come an inch forward. Oh boy, should I keep working on this thing or should I just abandon this idea? Now obviously, because you see all these other little weird things going on down here, somebody had problems with this thing to begin with. But I see this thing like it needs to come forward an inch. Because the neck can't move. What if we move the neck? No, the neck can't move. It's this. You have to move this an inch forward. Well, I could give up now. I could keep going. I could throw it in the dumpster out behind the store. I could sell it as is. Or for the sake of this video, I could keep going. Wouldn't be that hard to move it. You know what? I'm gonna sleep on it. Maybe I'll work on it tomorrow. Alright guys, I am back. It's not the next day, it's like 10 minutes later. Gonna put a cable right there at the 1st fret. And this job's not that hard. Let me just get my screwdriver out. And we're gonna take these screws out. This was the one that didn't go in very good. This one went in good. So basically, this bridge is probably not the original bridge because the scale length on this guitar is, I think this neck is like a 7/8 size neck, where it's not a full scale length. So again, this bridge was set up to be right at a Gibson 24.5 scale length. Gibson scale length is 24 3/4. This one, because to the 12th fret, you're looking at 11.5. That'd be 23 1/4 is our scale length that we want. So we're going to move this thing way up here. And it's not going to be that big of a deal. This thing's already falling out of here. Let me loosen the strings. But the cable kind of keeps them from getting all over the place. Alright. Let's just take it apart. Because it never did look right on here. And there's all these other holes all over the place. So somebody's tried to do something to this thing before. And they were unsuccessful at it. Okay, so I think what I can do is I can just loosen this all the way. And loosen that one. And then set this whole thing off to the side. There we go. Couple little screws right here. Now, unfortunately, there are going to be a lot of old holes in this thing. But maybe we could do a little repair on some of these holes with some super glue or something. Okay. Yeah, because this thing never looked right. First time I looked at it, it was off to this. It was installed here like crooked, so it should be more like that. It was over this way. We're going to move this thing way up into this neighborhood. And all this, that's some ugly stuff right there, but that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to move it, and we're going to patch all this. We're going to patch all this stuff. And we're going to move this bridge really far forward. Alright, so let's see again. 11 3/4. Okay, hold on. Let me set this back on here. Let's find 11 3/4. It's about right there. But it can come forward a little bit because we have room. Well, it can go back a lot, but we don't have threads to hold it there. So the furthest back we can go is right around there. I'm thinking out loud here. So that's 11 3/4 right there, but if we wanted to bring it forward, I'm going to do 3/4 of an inch off of this pickup. And if I get it wrong, I get it wrong, and this thing turns into a wall hanger, which most likely it's going to be anyhow. Okay. But the pickup to me looks like it's sort of set in here nice and straight. Alright. So we're just going to install this bridge right here. On this line. And all these other holes, I'm not sure what to do with any of those. I think we're going to put that thing right there. Now we do need to figure out how to center it too. Because it felt like it was off center. So we can work on this problem too. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull a couple of these strings off of here, but I'm going to leave my E strings on. Alright, so I've got the high E string, both the E strings are on here. I got a cable down here trying to hold them close to where they should be living. And then you can see we can rock it back and forth this direction. And then if I hold my ruler on here, right here, it looks like we're at, okay, it's hard to do all this at the same time, but it looks like right about there we're at 11 and 5/8, but it could come forward a little bit. So I think to just sort of line, and this is such a narrow neck that I don't know if this bridge is really for this guitar, and that could be one reason that this is so close to hanging over the edge on both sides. So I think if I just maybe drill a hole right there to get this thing started, I think for what it is, it's one of those things, hey man, that's good enough, right? So that's what we're going for here today. We're going for the, you know what, it's just good enough. Here's how I'm going to mark it. So obviously with all the amount of old screw holes in here, right? This has already been tried. Somebody's already tried to do this. Hopefully I've got enough talent to figure this out because I watch Dave's World of Fun Stuff videos all the time. There it is, Dave's World of Fun Stuff. I think he'd be proud to see the placement of that bridge. So I kind of missed my mark up here a little bit, but I think, let's double check here. I could always re-drill it. Yeah, I think that's 11 3/4 right there. So let's put the strings back on. Well, I wonder how many holes I should put in it. Is it going to be good enough right there? Okay, here's my low E string. There's the high E string. Sharp. Flat. So it's close enough. It's in the right neighborhood. We can bring this side forward a little bit. We can take this side and hopefully tighten that up and bring that back a little bit. I think we're close to being good enough for this $100 guitar. It's been all day. I think we're good enough. I'm just going to drill more holes. I'm going to leave it down in there right where it's at and finish this video. Okay guys, I'm sitting here with this thing and I'm working on tuning it. Now these tuners, wow, you just gotta barely turn them a little tiny bit. And that D string, if I put my finger right there on that 0 fret, there you can hear that it doesn't buzz. So if I file down that fret, the nut right there under the D, I think I could get rid of that buzz. There's the G string, B string, and the high E string. Now look, when I hit the 12th fret, high E string, it's very, very close. It's almost perfect. Can you guys see that? Up in the corner up here, my tuner. Here, let me see if I can zoom in on the tuner just a tad. I want you guys to actually be able to see this because I think I got it. So here's the high E string. There it is, tuned, intonated. Here's our low E string. And it's good. Here's our A string. So the rest of these, you know, they don't intonate automatically. All you can do is the 2 E strings. But I think it's here. Okay, so I plugged it into the amp, and the output jack is a little messy still. So I'm thinking, don't know what these 2 switches are doing. But here's the, let's see. Okay, I think we're in the bridge position. Just noodling, but the guitar is actually playable. Turn it down. Let's hit this switch and see if the other pickup comes on. This might be both pickups. Yeah, maybe not. There's the neck pickup. Cool guitar, man. I kind of digging it.